meet my new bongo. This is Princess. She is so cute. Thank you so much to my boyfriend Hector for bringing her into my life because she's perfect. It's not a phase, Mom. I'm trying to get really nice and stoned so I can make a really good eyebrow tutorial for y'all. I don't know if y'all noticed my title, HIGHbrows, thaibrows, eyebrow tutorial. So obnoxious, so punny, so clever. So everyone always asks me for a brow tutorial and I'm finally gonna make one. Thank goodness. So let's zoom you in a little bit, huh? Alright, now that y'all are all nice and close and personal with me, as you can see, I have no brows. We're gonna change that. So depending on your natural brows, you're gonna use a different kind of brow product. Because I don't really have any brow hairs and my brows are kind of light, and the kind of brows that I like to achieve are kind of bold, clean, and dark. That's why I use the Anastasia dipbrow. The reason why is I think it's a lot easier to draw a very thick line, but I'm also able to blend that line out and fill in my brows. And I just like how clean it is. I think it's quicker than just using a brow pencil. Personally, I don't like brow pencils. I don't like mechanical brow pencils. I don't like pencil brow pencils. I mean, I don't like wooden brow pencils. That's what I mean. So I prefer to always use dipbrow, but that's just me. Let's say you're someone who already has pretty naturally thick brows. I would just suggest either using like a brow powder on its own, a brow gel, or like a thin brow pencil to fill in just the little crevices that you're missing some hair, because you're not gonna need the same amount of coverage and the same amount of color that I need, that I get in the dipbrow, you know? So once you kind of figure it out, you play around a little bit with different brow products to see what works for you. I suggest this to everyone. I think it's at least worth trying out, because even though I use this to get really dark and defined brows, it's also easy to get a light natural brow with this as well. Okay, so the very first thing I do is I just start brushing my brow hairs in one direction with a clean spoolie. This is what a mascara wand is called. It's a spoolie. You can get it from like a Sephora or an Ulta. Literally just take one that they have out. Okay, for this next step, I recommend using a brow brush. I prefer to use an angled thin eyebrow brush to apply my dipbrow. Another type of brush I think would work really well would be the same shape brush, but just with Taklon bristles. Taklon is like the yellow, what is it? Taklon is the yellow like bristles, you know, the yellow brushes that you see that are really cheap. That kind of bristle would work really well with dipbrow because of the consistency of it. I think Taklon will pick it up a lot better than like maybe a natural bristle brush, you know? Alright, now I'm gonna actually apply the dipbrow. I use the brush and I try to make sure that both sides of it are covered. And then I also make sure the middle is covered, if that makes sense. And then I start at the very beginning of my brow and I line just the bottom part. And I go back in with some more dipbrow if I need it. So I kind of get something like this. It does depend on your natural brow shape and also the shape that you want to go for, because even if your brow shapes don't fit the shape that you want them to be, you can draw it on, or you could use concealer to make your brows smaller or shaped a different way. For this, I'm just showing you how I do my brows basically every single day. After I've lined the bottom of my brow, I start lining the top. And I always have to make sure that I don't line too far up, otherwise my brows will look way too thick, but you know, shit happens. For my arch, I typically always do it kind of like right here. Again, it depends on what brow shape you want and what brow shape you have. But if you want to measure to get like the perfect brow shape or whatever, you could use your brush and you place it at the edge of your nose straight up. That's technically where your brow is supposed to start, like right here, right? And then if you angle the brush so it goes right through the center of your pupils and up at that angle, this is where your arch would be. And then for the tail of the brow, you angle the brush so that's pointing right at the corner of your eye. And that is where your brow should end. But fuck that. I think my brows look pretty good. I don't have to follow that exactly down to a T, but it is a good guide for people who don't really know what to do. So I end up with something like this. And now I start filling in my brow. And it's half me blending the lines that I've already drawn, and then the other half me using more product to fill the rest in. Kind of try to blend out the lines that I've already drawn on. So for the top line, I try to blend it downwards, and then the bottom line upwards. Okay, so this is a pretty standard rough draft of a brow. The next step is to set this with eyeshadow, but I forgot it, so I'll be back with that, okay? I got the eyeshadow, and because I'm fucking disgusting, I'm gonna show you the shade that I'm gonna use. This is the color I'm gonna use to set my brows. As you can see, there's a little fucking crater in there. It's also disgusting all around that edge. You can't even read the name. It's the color Sleek. It's literally just a matte dark brown. This is so nasty. I'm so sorry I'm like this. Okay, so to set my brow with eyeshadow, I like to use, again, a slanted, thin eyeshadow eyebrow brush. One that kind of looks like this. When I use it to set my brows, I like to start on the tail rather than starting in the front. And setting your brows with a powder will help to fill in all the splotches or all the parts that you missed, and your brow has a more uniform, even look. Not to mention that setting your brow with the shadow is going to help it last longer too. When you get to the front of the brow, that's the important part. This is why I don't start in the front, because I want there to be a gradient. As you can see, there's a clear harsh line of where my brow starts. And just to blend that out a little bit, I take the same brush that I've been using with no product on it. And I kind of use it to blend out the fronts onto my bare skin where there is no dip brow. It looks kind of weird right now, but we're going to go back in with the clean spoolie and brush out the fronts. It looks like this, but we're also not done yet. You thought we were done? You thought we were done, but we're just getting started, bitch. I'm gonna go in with a concealer to carve out my brow, and this is how it ends up looking hella clean and straight and perfect. I'm using the LA Girl HD concealer in light ivory, and then the Real Techniques lip brush. A lot of lip brushes are actually really good to use as a concealer brush to carve out your brows. Okay, if anything, I'm more careful about carving my brows out with concealer rather than the part where I draw them on, because once you accidentally go over too much of your brow with concealer, it makes it look gray. And when you try to put product back over it, sometimes you can fix it and sometimes you can't. So you really have to be really precise with carving your brows out. I put a good amount of concealer on here and I start carving it at the bottom. So usually the way that I want my brows to be shaped, I want them to be angled downwards. I don't want it to be like straight horizontal starting brows, you know? I'm gonna carve my brows out with that in mind. started carving this concealer out, but I go a lot further out from the front of my brow, and that is intentional. I don't know how to explain it, but when I do my other brow, drawing my concealer far out like this kind of helps me to match the angles of both of my brows. I'll show you that soon. For now, I'm just gonna finish this one brow. I'm gonna finish carving it out and everything, and then, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna carve this brow out with concealer, and then I'll finish getting to the same step with this other brow so y'all can see exactly what I mean. When carving your brows out, it really helps if you do short strokes rather than try to have one continuous line from the front of your brow to the end. So for my top brow, I did kind of the same thing. My concealer stuck out a little bit at a downwards angle at the way that I want it. The important part is getting this arch perfectly carved. Bitch, this shit is clean. Okay. Before I go into work on my other brow, I'm gonna just real quick I just did my other brow, but you can clearly see that they're not even, which is why concealer is so great, because I can use it to fix this fucked up disgrace of a brow. Bitch. Where? Because I drew the concealer so far out here, it's easy for me to compare this bottom line to the one of this brow over here, if that makes any sense. I want to match with my concealer the same like angle that is going down on this other side so my brows turn out looking even. Okay, so I just cleaned the bottom of my left brow with concealer, and it's already looking better because I kind of cut off the parts where I overdrew it. But then if you compare the arch of my right brow to my left, this one goes up a little bit more. This one is more smooth and curved, although this is more arched. So I can also fix that with concealer. Isn't it great what concealer can do? I'm almost there. It just needs more of a curve in this area so that it can perfectly match this one. Eyebrows are an art. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. This shit is art! Okay, so because I use concealer in this area, it's kind of looking a little gray. Like the line of my brow is not as defined, so I'm gonna go back in with some dip brow to kind of go over that and readjust if needed. I think I'm a lot happier with how the bottoms of my brows look right now, so I'm gonna go clean the top of my brows. Some people don't do this, but I personally do because I want it all to be crisp. Look, if I join my concealers in the middle, I have a perfect unibrow, and that's how you know the angles are good. Okay, this is how they look clean with concealer, looking good. And I just use my finger to blend it out. But when you do this, you want to be careful to not actually blend your actual brow product. You just want to make sure your finger ever so slightly blends out the edges and beyond, and that it doesn't touch your hard work in the middle. Okay, here they are with all the concealer blended out. Because I'm such a perfectionist, I can still see a lot of different things I can do here to improve and to balance them out a little bit. I'm not gonna do that to myself today, okay? I am sick and I am tired of my own bullshit. I'm not gonna spend a million years on these fucking brows. I have shit to do. Oh, but this brow tutorial is not over. It's never over. One last step, that is to use either a brow gel or a brow mascara or whatever you want to go over your brow hairs to keep them in place. If you're using like a mascara or gel to add more color to it, or for me, I use a tinted brow mascara for both of those reasons. And also because typically I do my brows first before the rest of my face, and then after I'm done with every single part of my makeup, after I've been like powdering myself, some of it gets into my brows. So I run over it with this mascara, this brow mascara, so that the brows that were covered in powder now don't look weird and they look like my brows. I like to start maybe like in the middle-ish of my brow. I never, like, the way I do that, I don't want to accidentally get in the front because that'll ruin the gradient that I have, because sometimes if you brush hard, it'll leave a mark from the actual gel on your brow rather than just in the brow hairs. So yeah, I just follow the shape of my brow, and same with the tip of it. I don't want to push down too hard on this end because it might smudge outside of my brow around the tail. So yes, here's the finished look. Wait, fuck, okay, whatever. This is all done. This is how I do my brows. I'm just gonna go now, I guess. So do me a favor, if you ever go on any of my social media and I post like a picture of my makeup and then someone asks me, please post a brow tutorial, not knowing that I do have a YouTube channel now and also not knowing that this video is on there now, please do me the favor of linking them to this, please, because I know a lot of people are gonna ask me. It's not their fault that they don't, you know, they might not keep up with me so heavy, but it would really help me if y'all were like, hey, look, here's an immediate answer to your question. Thanks, I would appreciate that. So in honor of my very first high makeup tutorial, I did a Kush inspired makeup look to compliment it. I hope you liked this brow tutorial. I hope it helped. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, it honestly makes me so happy that a lot of you like my videos, and I'm so glad that I get so much reception from everyone else on social media. Like when I say that I post a video and y'all just comment the weird sentences I tell you to comment, makes me feel good. Makes me want to make more videos. And if you want me to make more videos, please recommend anything that you want to see. If I think it's cool, then I'll do it and you'll see it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go eat some Asian snacks and hang out with my boyfriend. Bye. Wait, please like, comment, and subscribe.